I should be allowed to make my point. Mr. Speaker, in all humility, I can read a room. I am making my point, and I would act within the laws. I shouldn't be instructed. Mr. Speaker, I am submitting that the bill that the sponsors have proposed with this so-called amendment by the committee, Mr. Speaker, our friends who are in government today oppose every amendment
Honorable Minority
in the
Leader.
8th Parliament.
Honorable
today,
Minority Leader.
They want to pass a bill.
Minority Leader, you cannot refer to a proposed amendment from a committee of this House as so-called.
Mr. Speaker,
you know that is not proper.
Mr. Speaker, anytime I talk, you interrupt. Even when the majority leader gets it wrong,
if you use a language that is not proper, I will have to draw your attention to it.
Mr. Speaker, the majority leader used lawlessness.
I will continue to draw your attention to it. You cannot refer to a proposed amendment emanating from a committee of this House as so-called.
Mr. Speaker, that's fine. I take guidance from you. That's fine. Mr. Speaker, I disagree with the attempt by the committee of this House to use amendment to water down the very bill that our friends, when they were in opposition, pushed it on the country. Mr. Speaker, that was their argument. And where is the principle? Mr. Speaker, where is their principle? They sponsored the bill. May I finish? You see, Mr. Speaker, the majority leader is not a Democrat. Sit down. I listen to you in silence. So you sit down. Mr. Speaker, when they were in opposition, they sponsored the bill. They resisted every single amendment. Mr. Speaker, today, they are now saying that through a committee they are amending, Mr. Speaker, the clause 9, the very amendment they rejected in opposition. Today that they are in government, they are claiming that this is the bill they want. Mr. Speaker, they are virtually rendering the very thing they propose odious. Mr. Speaker, the very thing that day, and Ghanaians, the people of Ghana can see through the double standard, the lack of principle. And I'm putting it to you, Majority Leader, that your side lack principle. Your side lack principle, and that is a political statement coming from this side of the House to me. How can you, the very law that you wanted signed today, when it's your turn, you are amending, so you know that you can take away all these clauses? Where is Sam George? Where is Sam George? Where is Sam George? This is political double standard, lack of principle, and now you want to water it down. So you don't want it. And you want to claim you want to pass it. You are passing no law. We can read through your double standard, Majority Leader. That is why I came back into the chamber to deal with your double standard. You want to intimidate Honorable Ntim Fodjo, virtually render his proposal odious. That's what you're doing. And then you say when you finish, you send it to the president to sign for the media. You pass LGBT. When you know you pass no law, you want to confuse us like you did on the e-levy, like you are doing on Doomso and everything. Mr. Speaker, we can read the room. We can read the room.
Honorable Minority Leader, are you done?
Yes, I am not done. I'm making my argument. If you want to call him, you can call him.
Let me hear.
When he gets to his mischief, he start giving some smiles. Let us see your smile, your mischief smile.
Honorable
or this time
Minority
you
Leader, let me hear you.
We can read you, Majority Leader.
Minority Leader, why are you doing this?
To him, not to you. To him. Mr. Speaker, to him. He does it to me. To him, not to you.
Why? You can't do this.
He intimidated my colleagues.
You address the chair.
Mr. Speaker.
That is the modality.
Stay
Is that not the
out of this.
modality?
I am responding to the majority.
But you address the chair.
Mr. Speaker, I'm addressing.
Is that not so?
He's been intimidating my side all
that
the
not
while
so?
I was away.
Please,
so
you
I
have
am
the
back to face him.
Minority Leader, kindly resume your
Very
seat.
well,
You
Mr.
have the
Speaker.
floor.
I'm back to face him.
Thank you.
With his mischief. You say you are passing a law. Which law? Mofia Mobanabo. Bo.
Mr. Speaker, those are the clauses that we are discussing. So when you run into the chamber, you can argue, you can look at the clauses. If you have opposition, some of us have had opposition to some of the clauses. We've moved for deletion and it's been deleted. But this your attitude of coming in and shouting left and right as if we're engaged in a shouting match doesn't help. Doesn't help. Nobody in this country will be deceived. As for the last election, you lost it. You cannot cure your loss of the last election by any kind of gimmicks in this chamber. It will not help. You had an excellent opportunity. We proposed the bill. Reverend Ntim Forger and co, your members, joined and sponsored the bill. And when we debated the bill, nobody in this house,
Was the leader of the house.
nobody in this house under your leadership
And we passed.
opposed it. The day we were voting on it, we voted on it unanimously. Mr. Speaker, you were not opposing anything. You went and brought the same bill back. You changed the clauses. You appended your signature as a sponsor to the bill. It was referred to the committee. As for watering it down, this is a proposal coming from the committee. You are free to argue for or against it. If you are against it, we'll put it to a vote. If you are for it, we'll put it to a vote. At the end of the day, the basic question is, if a person accused of LGBTQ is put before the courts, should that person have a right to a lawyer? That's the basic question. The basic question is, if a person accused of LGBTQ goes to the courts, goes to a hospital, should the person be denied medical services? The issue is, a journalist, can he report a matter relating to LGBTQ in the media? If a journalist or a media house, let's say City FM, Joy FM, reports matters relating to LGBTQ, should we accuse them of supporting or promoting or whatever? If an academic does a research on LGBTQ, can he publish the research findings? These are the questions that have been raised, which the committee that we referred the matter to have considered and brought us specific proposals for us to consider. How does that amount to the NDC government or NDC members of parliament watering down the provisions of the bill? How does that amount to we watering down the provisions of the bill?
Do you think the law in its present form will be assented to by the president?
I can't speak for Mr. President, but I think that the law in its present form has questionable constitutional issues. The law, as I see it, from how I've seen it, the law cannot stand any serious test in any constitutional court.
So you think if somebody took this to Supreme Court, it could even arrest it before it gets to the president?
Well, I think that the law would have serious challenge at the Supreme Court.
If it faced a human rights constitutionality test?
If it faces a constitutionality test, it will fail. Not the entire law, aspects of the law would fail.
I also argue that, look, in place of the custodial sentence, let us introduce a community service. A community service. The community service would provide a platform, apart from the whatever form of community service the judge will impose, there would be a platform, again, for mandatory counseling. So the mandatory counseling, if you look at my proposal, I am saying that we should have a clinical psychologist to chair that committee. We should have a chief in the person's community, an opinion leader, a member from the clergy or an imam, a respected Islamic cleric, and the person can be taken through all of these.
You raise concerns about this bill. Fundamentally, does this law serve the best interest of Ghana?
Well, aspects of the law, in my view, must be looked at. And now, you, the journalist, Francis, so I ask you a direct question. Be honest with me. Look me straight in the eye and be honest with me. This very bill, have you read it?
I have.
In full?
I have.
In full?
I have.
All right. What has been your position on the aspect that seeks to question press freedom?
Well, I know there were 2 amendments that were made to it.
Which is?
Subsequent to it, in terms of the freedom for us to express our thoughts on it editorially without any consequence.
What amendment were made? What was the amendment? Francis, don't go into areas that perhaps you've not paid attention to. What amendment did they make? And what have you done as a media house? Because your fundamental rights as enshrined in the Constitution, press freedom, which freedom got curtailed at a point with criminal libel. And in 2001, Nana Akufo-Addo, Attorney General, as he then was, led government decision to repeal it. And we all celebrated that victory. That when a media house airs, a claim should lie in a civil action, not a criminal action. Do you realize that that criminal libel has been reintroduced? And I blame all of you in the media. You've not even paid attention, with respect. So, you have in the bill that somebody says that if we are Oba, now koshe bema tadie and atadia etise obema dienu wafum and say ukade jail. Hey Francis, if you go and express an editorial policy on matters of same sex, you have committed an offense?
I dare say, Mr. Speaker, that will be retrogressive should we insist as a house on a third reading with these incarceration provisions in the bill.
Za yar kanide impempre de obi akeshe de ni isunum na ye pede ya sesanisu ana asome yesido damazi ya jintum na bom onka de fiase se ya hwe de ye. That is all, Chairman.